I've arrived at my destination, the cemetery in Bucha, and the cabbie is going to be kind enough to pause for me. And if you've ever been to a cemetery, you know that you don't have these many new burials all at once. So these are victims of the war, the horrible war, which has come upon them so unexpectedly. And it's really touching to see the devotion they have to their dead. And these are Ukrainian Orthodox, so you can see the cross, the Orthodox cross, and the letters Jesus Christ and the name of the dead. And these are hasty burials, and the ground here is sand, like in South Jersey, my parents are from. God have mercy on their souls. So for those of you who believe in social media, there's no war and no one's dying, well, watch this video and you can see all these, where are these flowers? There's the new graves. So I'm going to walk through all of them because as a Franciscan, it's our duty to pray for the dead. And I would have a great devotion to poor souls. And though these people are Orthodox, most of them don't know anything about the schism of 1048 or why our churches are divided. So God in His mercy will not hold that against them, I think. And so let's ask that God have mercy on them all. This one with the flag, I think, means he was a soldier. You can see his face there. And some were so poor all they have is a cross. This one's a small grave. I think it's a teenager or a child. Oh no, someone born in 79, died in 22. So they're actually 40 years old. But it's a very small grave. Maybe only part of the body is there. And here they put a table up. I think it's an altar. Another 79-22, so another 42-year-old. These are probably members of the military. The flowers are in the shape of an egg. It's the ancient Greek symbol of immortality. So it shows their hope and prayers that the loved one might enjoy the resurrection promised by our Lord. Let's look how many new graves there are. This looks like a husband and wife. Here's someone who's only 15 years old. Unfortunately, I can't read Cyrillic, so I can't say whether it was a boy or a girl. Though the scarf makes me think it might have been a girl. This looks like a whole family, 3 people. When you consider the tremendous sorrow that must be for the survivors of the family to bury 3 members of their family all together, you can see that the weight of all that sand is nothing in comparison to their sorrow. And who is buried here? I can't tell whether men or women because I can't read Cyrillic, but this one was 32 years old. This one was 50 years old. This one was 70 years old. 3 generations. Some graves are still being dug and have not yet been filled. They were burying people so fast, they were just digging them as mass they could do. I find it hard to believe that someone who was 50 years old is in such a small grave. The body must have been burnt by the Russians, and there's not much left. So sad. These have pictures. These look like men who fought and were killed defending their country. This man with the flag, surely so. I think his name is Rujenko. Would you say Ruggiero? Roger? This beautiful cross. This is a steel cross. This is a beautiful way they remember their dead, with a picture of Christ crucified on it. This was someone who is 64 years old. These were elderly people, probably, who decided to, stay at home and not worry about the war. And the war came to them. He was a brave soldier who died defending his country. See, he died on March 18th. And I think he was in the mechanized infantry. You see that blue-white shirt. Here's a man who died in March. They don't even know what day. He was born in 1977. Here's just a simple wooden cross with an icon. Ivan is his name. And there's an icon of one of their saints, but it's not an Orthodox cross, so maybe this person was a Catholic. This man. He died on the 28th of March. So these are all war victims, we can tell by the dates. This person died on the 1st of March, the opening of the war. He's died on the 8th of March. It's probably territorial guard. He was a fan of Italy, of the Italian team. He's died on the 3rd of March. Died on the 27th of February, first days of the war. Let's see if I have time to show you some of the other graves. But see, they go to the horizon here. I don't know how many knew. And this is not even the main cemetery that you see in all the mainstream media videos that make you think that that's the only people who died. Let's see if these people also died during the war. Let's see. No, he died January 6th. So these are the four dead here. One small sampling of the suffering of this nation of 44 million people. I hope, having seen this, you understand more what is at stake here. This is just a few people from one small neighborhood here in the Ukraine, nearly all civilians. And Russia's already decided they want an empire from Lisbon to Vladivostok, and that every nation in NATO needs to be genocided and liberated. So whether you live in Europe, or whether you're of European origin, or whether you're just a Christian and you understand the important religious and cultural and economic importance of Europe, a free Christian Europe, you can understand how it's important it is to help Ukraine and its fight. The Ukrainians are shedding their blood, have lost their loved ones, defending your liberty, defending Western Christianity. And if anyone says that this is salvation and liberation, they're obviously blasphemers and godless folk. And alas, so many people in the West have sucked up Russian propaganda and have become possessed with a spirit of lying and fraud, and say that these people deserved being killed. These people deserve. This is not the government of Ukraine. These are not politicians. These aren't people who did you any harm. They just were living in their houses, and Russia came to liberate them. So I plead with everyone in the West, snap out of the political propaganda which says that this is not my war, this is not our war. Our Lord in the parable of the Good Samaritan explained how the priest and Levite walked by, they were probably saying, well, you know, he was beaten up by robbers, but that's not my war. And Christ praises the Samaritan, who was a heretic to the Jews of old, for what that man did. So we who are Christian, we want our reward in heaven, and Christ is going to judge us. And who was there for them? But now the Ukrainians are fighting for us. We have to defend them. We have to help them. And it isn't just something that your politicians can send over. For example, in the United States, don't think that 90 billion is going to the Ukraine. It's not. It's going to American companies who are going to sell overpriced, big-ticket items to the U.S. government. That will be sent in the fall or in the winter or next spring. But Ukrainians need help now, and that's why I'm here in the Ukraine, to help them now. But I'm a friar. I have given all my money to the poor years ago, so I can only help if you help me. So I'm here to do the help that you want to do, if you want to do it. And I hope there's some big-hearted people there that want to do a lot, because then I can do a lot here for these people. Whether they've survived this tragedy or whether they're in threat of this tragedy happening to them along a 500-mile front now. And when the Russians conquer an area, they kill massive numbers of civilians who are considered political threats. They steal children from families. They put the entire population in a filtration camp and they send them to Siberia. Mariupol is undergoing this right now. Pretty soon it will not exist anymore. And this is what Russia wants to do to all of Europe. The Russians are a race like the Babylonians of old. When they conquer, they want the land for their own people, and they destroy every ethnic group in their path and disperse them to the four corners of the world. And this is just what globalists want. They want the destruction of Western Christianity, and Russia is their instrument. Don't think it's that Ukraine is the instrument of globalism here. That's not. I mean, you're totally out of touch with reality if you think that. And this is why we all need to stand and defend these people's relatives who are still living. God bless. Ave Maria. This is Brother Alexis Bugnolo from Rome Info.